Welcome, everyone. Once again, this is Naomi from Hope to Courage. And I cannot wait to introduce you guys to this guest that we have today. As you know, we're celebrating 21 days of gratitude, and we're putting together an incredible resource toolkits for you to be able to just choose and take what you need whenever you need it to help everyone ascend from fear to hope and from hope to courage. So today, our friend is joining us. She is someone that I admire for her zeal, her dedication. She is a veteran advocate, and welcome, Lucy.
How are you? How's everything? Thank you so much for having me
Great.
today.
Lucy, why don't you introduce yourself and please just tell everyone who you are, what you do, and what are you bringing to these 21 days of gratitude?
Sure. My name is Lucy Delgadio. I am a Belleville resident. I'm also a veteran advocate, mom of four, mom of a pet. I am a U.S. Army veteran. And for the
Thank you
last
for your service, Lucy.
thank you. Thank you. For the last close to 5 years, I've been practicing holistically my PTSD diagnosis, and where I managed to find a toolkit of things that are med free to try to help me cope and help me, fine tune my depression, my anxiety. So I found alternatives opposed to, the cocktail of 12 pills that I used to be on. Now I have found ways that I could take care of myself. Is it through running? Is it through yoga? Is it through meditation? Is it through journaling? Is it through cooking, enjoying things? And I found that, and I just crafted a toolkit, and it makes me feel better. Am I good all the time? No. I have my days, and all of us are allowed to have those days. But I've learned how to be more graceful, more compassionate, and more empathetic with myself.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I love what you mentioned about the toolkit, because the message that we share through Hope Through Courage is that this is not about one thing that you do, right? It's not the one thing that lands you into a depressive state. It's a combination of things and thoughts and habits and ideas, and surrounding yourself with certain things that either will make you feel empowered or will make you feel fearful and anxious. And of course, everything comes into place with also the experiences and the trauma that you may have experienced in the past. Now, one thing that I loved as you and I were chatting before we started is that you talked about post-traumatic stress disorder, right? PTSD, which we might be very familiar with. But I love what you talked about PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress
Growth.
growth. Can you
Growth.
talk a little bit
Yes.
about that?
So, when you talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of people, again, reference it to veterans, but it's not just a veteran thing. Everybody, there's a multitude of us that are outside of the veteran culture that have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder because of a traumatic experience they might have experienced. What I'm trying to look for is, I don't want to hang on the term post-traumatic stress disorder. I want to show people that in this process, it's post-traumatic growth. I'm trying to grow within this diagnosis because, again, am I saying that I'm perfect all the time? No, I'm not. I'm nothing near perfect, but I have my days where I'm very kind and graceful to myself, and that's where I experience my growth. I still have those moments, like I was sharing with you, that this weekend I felt like I needed to stay longer in bed, and I gave myself that grace to do it. But I've learned how to say to myself when I need the time and when I need to even focus a little bit more, take a little bit deeper dive into my toolkit and find things to do those readjustments. And that's the growth period of what my post-traumatic stress is taking on right now.
Great. And what's beautiful about this is that growth is not a destination, right? It's not a place where you reach it. This is a daily journey of growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's a,
feeling
it's a daily practice. It's a daily practice of giving you that time to breathe and to take it all in and to make sure that you're treating yourself with kindness, and you're giving yourself, again, the grace to feel the way you're feeling.
Yes, because with everything everyone has experienced lately, right, there is that tendency for us to panic, to feel scared, to feel afraid, and depending on the day, we're it's easier for us to manage it on certain days. But I love what you mentioned about grace, right? Giving ourselves grace. What does that look like on a daily basis? What could that look like for us?
Well, it depends. It depends what you're into. It depends what you like to do. I mean, for me, it's, waking up, giving stepping my 2 feet on the ground, giving myself, grace, and gratitude that I actually woke up. And then, some days it's going to yoga at 6:15 or journaling at 6:15 and, my first cup of coffee and, doing my 10-20 minute meditation and then going about my day. And then when I'm feeling a little discouraged or I'm feeling some way, I have multiple journals around my house and I decide to look at one of my writing prompts and take my writing prompt and write about it, or take my, writing prompt to the evening and, end my day with that writing. But again, giving myself the allowance to pause throughout the day just to do like a mental check-in and make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to doing for myself. I mean, I'm always going to take care of others. I'm a mom. I do have a 9-to-5 job and, I do teach yoga at Signature. So I have things that I have to do, but I also have to make sure that the things I'm doing are also taking care of myself.
Yes. And that's key, what you mentioned about pausing and doing a mental check-in. Sometimes we're just go, go, go. We don't realize where we are mentally or physically until it's too late. And we'd realize, oh my God, now I'm in bed for 2-3 days. I'm in pain. I'm sick. Mentally, I'm reacting to everyone, from whether it is in the car, whatever it might be, because I didn't moment to stop. So you've been doing this practice of journaling that has been very healing. Can you share with everyone how you are going to use this during these 21 days of gratitude?
Sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick off some writing prompts for the 21 days. Starting tomorrow, you'll get a writing prompt, and we're going to focus on gratitude for the first 7 days, and just prompts about gratitude, giving yourself grace. And again, you could find any type of journal. I have multiple journals that I have around my house. I have one in the kitchen. I have one in my bedroom. I have one in my purse. Take that journal prompt and just write it down. It could be as simple as a sentence. It could be as simple as several words. Or if you really feel in tune with that prompt, really go to it, write multiple pages. What I love about writing is that I could always go back to it and see how I was feeling a certain day. Or if I felt a certain way and I could say, hey, wait a minute, I felt like this a few weeks ago. Let me go back to it and see how I resolved it. Or if I made if I wrote a sentence down that might resonate with me so it can make me feel better today.
Yes. So you're able to go back and see the growth as well, right? The journey. And find gratitude in that, because like we mentioned earlier, some days we might not feel as strong as we felt before, but we know now I can give myself a bit of grace because I've accomplished a lot. I've overcame so much, and I am so looking forward to this. I love writing. I also love being able to dig deep into my heart. Sometimes we need these prompts or these questions because we have these primary questions that we're always asking ourselves, and a lot of times they don't come from a place of grace. So you are going to be providing us with these prompts that are actually going to help us have this internal dialogue and to really give ourselves grace and compassion and say, what can I be grateful for today? How can I do that? And then putting in a writing space, it just really creates that memory for the future to empower us.
Yeah. And remember, not every prompt is going to resonate with you. You could say, this prompt, I'm going to write it down, but maybe I'll go back to it, or I could revisit it. Or some prompts are just going to grab you. Some prompts are going to be like, you know what, I'm going to take this deep dive, or write them down. Again, it's your choice of what you're going to write. It could be, again, words. It could be, a quote that resonated with you. It could be, I always said this year, everybody makes resolutions. And this year I said, out with the resolutions, I set more intentions for myself because I want to be more intentional. Again, the world and the society we live in today, resolutions just don't equate sometimes with the way
sometimes
we're living.
You plan and might not work out.
Yeah. So the plans aren't going to work out. So why not set intentions that are more intentional for you to work on your well-being and to have, goals? When I went into this venture of holistics, I really tried to really look at what I knew was going to work for me. And I tried a multitude of things. I never thought that I would, in 5 years run multiple marathons and do certain things. And it really, again, you don't know what you can accomplish until you put your mind to it. So again, writing these intentions, writing your prompts, you don't know what those prompts might lead you to go into.
Thank you for sharing that. I love what you said about intentions, because intentions has to do with us, right? It's a personal decision. When we get these, we go into this mindset of goals and resolutions, sometimes they are connected to other people, and we cannot control the world. We can't control other people. But this is one thing that we can take control of, and it's the intention of how I want to feel, who I want to be, regardless of what's going on in the world. So once again, Dee, thank you so much for saying yes to these 21 days of gratitude.
No, thank you for allowing me to be part of this. I'm very honored and humbled by this. So
yeah, and I honor your journey that has brought you to this moment, because I know that you've overcome so much, and people would love to hear a little bit more about the work that you do, whether it is through veterans and supporting those into PTSD. And I love that. So where can people find a little more information about you? How can they connect with you?
I'm on Twitter and on Instagram. My handle's at Lady Del DJ. So the word Lady, DEL, for the first 3 letters of my last name, and DJ like a disc jockey, because to honor my husband who's a disc jockey. So Lady Del DJ, and you could find me on Instagram, on Twitter. A lot of my advocacy work is in there, and just a little bit of my silliness. So you could see a little bit of what I do each day, if it's my runs, or it's my love of music, or a piece of artwork that might have resonated with me, or a picture. But I post, and please follow me, and I'll be more than happy to touch base with anybody through those mediums.
Fantastic. Thank you once again. We appreciate it. Thank you for your service, and thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.